Following on from the previous video, we got to this stage here. We got to this stage here where I asked you to accept that you can jump from here to here. So what that means is a small change in the radius, combine it with this, and then it will give you this small change in the area. So what that means is a small change in the radius, which is our dr here, combine it with this, so that will then give us dA. That will then give us dA, the small change in the area. So now let's go back to our example here. You've got an oil tanker. It's spilling oil, so the circle will get bigger and bigger and bigger. So your oil tanker is here. It's the radius. The circle will get bigger and bigger and bigger. Our ultimate aim is to be able to understand why it is that you can jump from here to here. Okay, why does it even make sense? So now let's just imagine our oil tanker here. It's spilling oil. Let's just say it has grown. The radius has grown by the physical 3 meters. So now you see this physical 3 meters. I'm talking about dr. I'm not talking about dr by dt. This dr by dt is like a rate. It's like me saying it has grown by it's growing by 3 meters per second. Here you're talking about the speed at which the radius is growing. Dr here, I'm asking you to consider a scenario where the radius is it has grown by 3 meters. It's not. We are not talking about dr by dt. We're not talking about the speed, because here you've got an element of time. Here you've got an element of time. I'm just asking you to look at the scenario where the radius is a physical 3 meters. There's no element of time in here. It's just dr. So now let's consider a scenario where it has just grown by 3 meters. Just 3 meters, not dr by dt, just dr. Okay, so let's consider the scenario where it has grown by 3 meters. Now going back to this, it has grown by 3 meters, so the change in the radius will be 3. Well, if you get 3, combine it with this, that will then give us dA. That will then give us the change in the area, which is this thing here, to be merging these two together will be 6 pi r. So this is your dA. So this, it has grown by the physical 3 meters. Now let's consider it has grown by 3. Well, it's growing by 3 meters per second. Now we are talking about dr by dt. Earlier we were just talking about dr. It has just grown by the physical 3 meters. Here we are talking about a speed at which the radius is growing. So dr by dt, you've got an element of time here, you've got an element of time here. So when you're given 3 meters per second, it means that every second the radius increases by 3. You've got another 3. After another second, another one. After another second, another one, and so on. We are now talking about dr by dt. But the thing is, it still works even though you're talking about dr by dt. Earlier we were just talking about dr. I hope you can accept that in dr it makes perfect sense. A small change in the radius, combine it with this, it will then give you a small change in the area. But the weird thing is, even though you're talking about the speed 3 meters per second, it still makes sense, because okay, so now we're given that the radius is growing by 3 meters per second. Let's just consider for every second. So we are considering after 1 second. Well, after 1 second it has grown by 3 meters. So this will be 3, and then combine it with this, and then that will then give us dA. That will then give us dA. That still makes sense. Now, even if you're talking about 3 meters per hour, 3 meters per hour, 3 meters per hour, it still makes sense, because let's consider 1 hour. Let's just consider the case when it's 1 hour. After 1 hour, it has grown by this much. It has grown by 3 meters, and then so hang on. So now what I'm trying to say here is that even if you consider 3 meters per hour, so in 1 hour it has grown by 3 meters. So in this case, dr is 3. Combine it with this, so that will then give you 6 pi r. So the change in the area is this. the change in the area. So this is your change in the area here. But now we're talking about for every hour. So here still makes sense. A change. So the change in the area is this thing here, which is this thing here, 6 pi r. So that's a change in the area. But then you got this is a change in the area per hour. So even if you have 3 meters per hour, it still makes sense because the area would have changed by this amount, and that's for 1 hour. That's per hour. So this side makes sense, and then this side here still makes sense. Even if you consider, let's say 7 meters per minute. Let's say per minute. So after 1 minute, it has grown by rate, where it has grown by 7. So now we are considering minutes. So for every minute, the change in the radius will be 7. Combine it with this, that will then give you 14 pi r. So that's your change in the area. So that's your change in the area. So this is your change in the area, but that's for every minute. That's for every minute. So this side makes sense, and this side makes sense. So even the point is that even if you talk about minutes, it still makes sense. Even if the point here is that you're talking about a rate here, and then the area would have grown by this amount per whatever this amount. So whatever you have over here, it will be the same for over here. Even if you're talking about per hour, then it has grown by this. The change in area will be by this amount per hour over on this side, which still makes sense. If you talk about the change in the radius for every minute, then the change in the area will be this amount, but then that will be for every minute. It still makes sense, even if you have dr by dt, and then this will then result in the change in the area for every whatever unit of time you're talking about, hour, years, months, whatever. It still works. So this side works, this side works. Hopefully, I hope you can accept that you can jump from here to here. Even if you have dr by dt, whatever the unit of time here over here, it would have grown by, let's say, 11 meters, the radius per year. Then your change in the area would be this amount for a year. So yeah, I hope you can accept that. Even if you have a rate here, it will still work with respect to time. It will still work. So I hope you can accept that you can jump from here to here. Okay.